I think when we go into the draft like this, we're going to see a game already of Mind where we're trying to make sure we get onto the fold with the best lineup.
You said best Celeste EU. It has been banned away against Voldemar. Lyra, no surprise there, I guess, gentlemen.
No, not at all. I mean, Lyra is a must-pick, must-ban for this tournament. One of the strongest heroes available, and Kestrel absolutely follows suit.
Zekant's smiling because he's created this monster, and this monster is Kestrel, and we expect to see her at pretty much 100% either in the pick or ban phase, right?
So Kestrel is incredibly powerful. However, it does look like Snow Avalanche does have something in mind to play against it. Samuel will be able to throw those pokes out at range, and having that lance on Bastion can be incredibly potent.
And look at this, they've taken the Catherine. Now, when we spoke to Infamous Legion, they said, we don't think many other people are interested in playing Catherine here. How are you guys feeling like she shapes up in terms of the meta right now?
Well, she's one of the priorities for Infamous Legion, so they are one of the teams that put the most time into her, and specifically because of the meta. We see lots of Celeste, lots of Kestrel. However, she's not against any of those. So it's going to really depend on whether or not she can stand in front of the Samuel damage, be able to block the Malice and Verdict, and the Saw coming in. So game one, Saw comes onto the fold, into the sky, Catherine and Kestrel.
We just talked about Voldemar having one of the best Saws that we've seen in Europe, and he locks it in for this first game of the World Championships. What an insane lock-in. There we have it, guys. Very quickly, based on the draft phase, who do you think?
I definitely like the idea of the Kestrel, Sky, Catherine together going into Saw. Saw's so risky. If Avalanche doesn't pull off a nice first 3 to 5 minutes of the game, they're going to be struggling from behind.
I'm actually very much looking forward to seeing how well Avalanche can do with this lineup, because it is incredibly strong and can take down Infamous Legion.
So we're going to say Infamous Legion and Snow Avalanche. Great. We've got two wonderful people to take you through here. It's Sona and Jingyi.
Thank you very much, guys, on the analyst desk. I am Sona, this is Jingyi, joining me for the first game of the World Championships here in the TCL Theatre. This is going to be an epic. We already have a Saw lock-in for Team Snow.
I don't think anyone saw that coming, quite truthfully, and it's going to be such an exciting matchup between these two teams.
That it is. We are on to the Halcyon Fold, guys. It's Infamous Legion versus Snow Avalanche for the first game of the day.
Yes, and I think this is the first time these two teams have ever faced up, and it's going to be such an interesting mix of these two playstyles coming. Infamous typically are very, very aggressive in the lane, especially with DeftQ there on that Kestrel.
Speaking of aggression, we already see Bastion getting taken out. Quarterboys and Spaghetti doing a great job of just invading the enemy jungle.
Yeah, they are. So I think Kestrel's going to have a really tough time here against that Saw, who has picked up the Weapon Blade first. So that's a lot of damage output coming out, and we see the Catherine coming out.
Here comes Quartervoice once again. Voldemar is very low on HP, down to 60, almost gets sniped out, will get taken down by Quartervoice. Infamous Legion 2-0 up already.
Yeah, that's a dominant start, and that's a really good going again, especially with that Saw. This is kind of what Snow needed to have this Saw, because I think if you look at their early games, Infamous Legion is stronger, and they needed that Saw damage, but the thing is, they need to be able to carry it through, and right now we're not seeing that as they've already lost 2 people.
It is a weakness that we've seen from Snow Avalanche across the split. If they fall behind, they can just get snowballed on, especially Voldemar, who is known for continually pushing up the lane and losing those kills quite a lot of the time.
Absolutely, that's what kind of worries me. If you look at any of Snow Avalanche's previous matches, Voldemar is the one that tends to lose his positioning very early on, gets a few deaths, and especially when you've got an aggressive laner such as DeftQ, that's going to be very, very difficult for Voldemar to try and fight against that.
And we see Bastion just coming up into the lane to try and help Voldemar push this up. There's a Samuel in the bush as well. Kentisik there. Roots does come down onto Catherine, but at the moment you have to feel Snow Avalanche can't be taking these trades. They're behind. Spaghetti already has triple crystal bit on that Sky.
Yeah, what we need to be seeing is Snow Avalanche, all 3 of them trying to push down that turret, but right now they are trying, but they're not getting too much damage down on the turret, which is not what they need. They need to push that down within the first 5 minutes.
That's always what you've talked about with Saw compositions as well. They've got strong poke with the Samuel, so they do have the ability, if they just stick in the lane for a while, to force that Kestrel and Catherine back. Because of the Lyra ban, you don't have that extra healing. We'll see that damage onto the Lance, off towards the side. The Samuel's low as well. There's the Kestrel trying to trade into him. Another kill, first kill for Snow Avalanche. They start to turn this one around.
Yes, they do. And the thing is, right now we're still not seeing any damage. There's lots of trade-offs going around, but what we have to worry about with that Saw there, as we get into the later game, Infamous Legion, they have a lot of lockdown.
Kill in the lane as well. We do just see the Saw going down. Quarterback is putting some aggression on here. Actually, the Saw was, sorry, just there. I couldn't quite see him on the screen for some reason. Infamous Legion have taken quite a strong advantage in the early game. if you're Snow Avalanche, how do you get back into this now?
Well, we want to see some rotating as a 3. Right now, we're not seeing that. Finally, we are
Health bars are back, guys.
Woo!
Cheer for health bars.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're not seeing is they're not applying enough pressure in the lane. They've been trying, and I think maybe a minion candy. Oh, hang on,
And Kensic's just going to get sniped with a Glimmer Shot. Infamous Legion, 5-1 up. And Bastion and Voldemar just left in the lurch as Kentasic falls.
The thing is with Snow Avalanche's composition is that they rely so much on getting the early game advantage. Right now, we're not seeing that. Infamous Legion are ahead in kills, they're ahead in gold, and that turret has hardly been touched. We need to be seeing those minion candies coming out. We need to start seeing the damage coming out, but right now I feel like they're a little bit too tentative.
Yeah, it feels it's one of the pitfalls we've seen from Snow Avalanche as well. Sometimes they just don't make that aggressive play they need to do. When we were talking to them yesterday, they were saying they were using all of the Autumn Split just to try and experiment and work out exactly what worked for them as a team. It doesn't feel like from the start of this game they found what works.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what kind of concerns me is that although they have not had the best splits so far, is that they always have done so well on a live stage. And maybe this is going to be one of those times where they are going to start playing really, really well. But Infamous Legion, nobody's really seen them playing on an international stage before.
That is definitely true. They have been consistently the winners of that Tesseract Cup, though. They are a strong, strong team from Southeast Asia, so I don't think you can underestimate them. In my opinion, they're probably one of the best 3 or 4 teams here. Snow haven't had the ability to perhaps practice quite as much because they've only been matched up with some of the European teams who a lot of people are saying are slightly weaker this split. Now, Voldemar takes a couple of glimmers, will get away with the roadie run, but forced back once again. Looks like he's going to try and get his Sorrow Blade now, so will have a bit of a damage spike on that sword.
Yeah, he's got that Sorrow Blade. It's going to be a lot of damage, but however, I think the biggest problem from him is going to be Quasar on that Catherine. And he used to be Firm Swift, you know, previously in the Tesseract, and he's a very, very aggressive roamer, very in your face, is not afraid of picking up that Storm Crown early just to get that extra damage in. And it's that Catherine, if he gets that Pauldrons early, he can apply it onto Saw and slow down his attack speed.
That is one of the vital things you need to do into a Saw, and Catherine does it so well because she can just use that Merciless Pursuit to get right onto that carry in the backline. Voldemar will be working on his positioning especially. And speaking of positioning, I want to just bring attention to Infamous Legion and their builds. You see hardly any defense from Death Q or from Spaghetti already because they know that positioning is the best defense.
Yeah, well, we actually see Snow Avalanche getting some damage down to the turret, picking up the minion candies. And what we're going to be, oh, that's a great route there.
Yeah, but it goes invisible. Active camo is just too strong.
That's the thing. We've been seeing lots of impales coming up from Bastion that are landing, but there's no follow-up from the rest of his team. Saw there and Kentasic, they have a lot of damage. They're not capitalizing on it, and if we did, they might be picking up more kills. But right now, it's just one.
I feel part of the reason they're not capitalizing is look at the CS numbers on the junglers. Spaghetti's sitting on 48. Kentasic has 21. He is at half the CS of his opponent, which means he's had to go Frostburn first. He's working more as a poke for his team than anything else. And he actually picked up 6 Halcyon Potions there, knowing he's going to take a lot of pain. Voldemar is the front line, and he's dead once again. Infamous Legion spring the track and take down Voldemar.
That's the thing about this weapon saw. Actually, hang on, Kentasic, never mind. That's the thing about that weapon saw is his lack of mobility. And if he's rooted in place, fully spun up, it's so easy for Infamous Legion to focus on him, and that's what they've been doing. Currently, he is 0-3-0. And this is what I was saying before, is that he does get focused on very early on, and his positioning is not as strong as some of the other laners here today.
If you're Infamous Legion here, what is your next step? Do you just continue to deny jungle? Do you just say, eventually Snow Avalanche are going to have to try and push up that turret so we can fight them in the 3v3?
Well, the thing is, I think they should be playing for the late game. They've got a later game composition, especially with that Catherine there. As long as if she builds up those Captain of the Guard stacks, she's going to be very, very difficult to take down. And if they play for the later game, we're going to start seeing Saw falling off, especially because he's not getting the chance to be fed right now in terms of CS or gold.
Definitely been denied quite a lot. Once again, a good route onto Death Q. Here's Kentasic as well, but not doing a huge amount with the Malice and Verdict Frostburn build, not giving him that damage spike he would like. Voldemar Rody runs in. Here's the death from above. He's stunned. There's the kill. There's the one-shot, one-kill as well. Bastion caught off towards the side. He's going to fall as well. Infamous Legion take 2 quick kills.
And this is where we're going to be seeing the turnaround. And again, it comes down to that Saw. The lack of mobility is so easy for them to focus him down, and they're doing that. And this is a fantastic opportunity for Infamous Legion to start turning this around. And we see Spaghetti doing exactly what he said before, is going into the jungle, denying even more farm away from Kentasic, who's actually, there's not much change from what when we saw him last time. 28, like, is so far behind right now.
He's a huge amount behind, and because they can't put the farm onto Voldemar as well, they don't have that extra jungle to feed onto the Saw, he's going to start falling behind as well. At the moment, he's in an all-right spot for being 8-1 down. You know, he's got Sora Blade, he's building up towards what appears to be a Tyrant's Monocle as well, but it's going to take him so long to actually get to that second item, especially with Quarter Voice just continually putting the pressure down. Death Q's here, and Voldemar has to roadie run away.
Yes, and Waldemar's already lost a little bit of health already, so we have to be kind of worried about, they need to start thinking about where Spaghetti's positioning is. Vision-wise, they're just putting in their side of the jungle. Right now, we need to have Waldemar to take a more backline approach, let Bastion get the impale, let Kentistick poke away, and then let Waldemar come in. Right now, they're not doing that. Waldemar's just taking everything right in the face.
Just a huge amount of damage from those glimmers, and we did talk to a lot of teams yesterday, one shot, one kill. Will get the snipe! Holy moly, that was incredible. I did not think that would connect. Bastion was there as a front line as well, but he just sidestepped it, and Voldemar was unable to.
The pressure from Infamous Legion is absolutely relentless. With situations like that, with that one-shot, one-kill, we want to be seeing Bastion taking more of an approach where he blocks that, but we're not seeing that. I think that's the second time.
Yeah, why does he not block that there? It feels a little bit like miscommunication amongst the team.
Oh, this
Bastion's
is terrible move.
Jump in, he tries to steal a tree and won't be able to get it, and will go very low. Blast Tremor used as well. I mean, Bastion got out alive, so it's not the end of the world, but it was a silly move to make.
It was a terrible move. When you are this far behind, you're 9-1, you're 3k behind in gold. Oh,
Double
that's done!
Kentistick caught out. Githyan will knock Death Q back, which means Kentistick can get underneath the safety of his turret. But once again, Infamous Legion, Voldemar's just dead. He's just gone. There's nothing he can do. Snow Avalanche are rolling down this hill, and at the end of it, there's a lot of pain. Great impale. Githyan will knocks him away from the Malice and Verdict, though, and Death Q will pick up another kill. One shot, one kill, not going to connect, but 11 kills to 1 now for the Infamous Legion.
The thing is, what we're seeing here is we're seeing all 3 members of Snow Avalanche coming up, and it's just Death Q and Quarterboard doing this. It's just 2v3, and they're winning every single time. It just comes down to synergy and their mechanics.
And the first turret of Worlds falls. I'm sure we'll see plenty more of those going down across the weekend. Infamous Legion, of course, this is a best of 2, so there's always the possibility that Snow Avalanche, you know, come back in the next game and have a different strategy, maybe banning out the Kestrel. But at the moment, it looks like Infamous Legion are going to be our first victors on the world stage.
It definitely looks that way, and I'm kind of wondering, maybe the Crystal Saw would have been much better in terms of the execute and the pure damage coming out from him, because right now, that Saw, I think, is the weakest point. He's 6 out of 11 kills, deaths from his team, and right now he's not getting the farm he needs. 95 to Death Q's 112, and he's just not putting the damage. He needs defense, quite frankly.
The thing is, you pick that into a Skye and a Kestrel and a Catherine as well. You know you're going to be focused down. There are different picks, different weapon power picks that could have been a little bit more effective. Bastion double root. Kentistick going to see what he can do from the side. This is Snow Avalanche able to hold onto their turret for now, but they are just getting forced back by Infamous Legion. They can't control their jungle, they can't control the gold mine, they can't control the pace of this game at all.
The thing is, what we're seeing is Snow Avalanche, they have an early game composition. If you're looking just at the compositions, Snow Avalanche should have been winning the early game, but they haven't, and I think it just comes down to the synergy, and they're just not working together. We've seen Bastion pulling off some great impales, but there's no follow-up from either Waldemar and Kentistick, and if you look at the positioning, they are getting caught out an awful lot. And right now we're seeing Infamous Legion coming into the late game, and this is where they are going to start getting even more stronger than they are now.
Well, they are 5,000 or 6,000 gold ahead now. It's a massive advantage to have to try and overcome, and it feels like Snow Avalanche are just compelled to play off the back foot. Since that early aggression where they got 2 kills quickly on, Infamous Legion have always been pushing forward and putting duress onto Snow Avalanche.
Yeah, they have been. And what it seems like, we were saying Infamous Legion, they're very well known for playing their glass cannon builds, not getting much defense, and it feels like Snow Avalanche are trying to do the same thing, but it's just not working. Right now, they need to be able to live through the fights. Waldemar, with that Sora Blade and with that Tyrant's Monocle, has a lot of damage, but we're not seeing anything coming out. He's getting focused down so hard, and it's looking like a very tough situation for them right now.
Whole of Snow Avalanche are underfarmed and underfed, and Infamous Legion know it, so they're going to start up the gold miner. Kentistick does have a lot of poke with the Malice and Bird if he wants to try and contest it, but it's a 3 gold miner for Infamous Legion. That just forces them further ahead.
Yeah, and it's only 12 minutes into the game right now. 3 minutes before the Kraken even comes out, and they're forced back by a good turret already. And they're very pushed up, and right now I don't think this is a good idea. I think they need to get the farm back before starting to push, because this is just letting Infamous Legion just rain down the damage.
There is an argument. I mean, you've got Oblivion, you've got Impale, you've got Mad Cannon as well. They can do a huge amount of work in a team fight if Snow Avalanche are able to get the engage they want. We see reflex blocks on towards Deathview and Spaghetti. They're going to take the fight once again. Kentasik takes a forward barrage to the face. Glimmer's not quite connecting as much as Deathview would like, but with Voldemort not there, they weren't able to put the damage back in response.
Oh, gosh!
Just dead once again, gets melted off the map. Absolutely vaporized.
That's the thing, the Glimmer shots are just hanging. That turret is going down so fast right now. What we need to see is Snow Avalanche picking up some defense.
Here comes Deathview,
Oh,
Glimmer,
no.
Kentasik stunned. It's gonna be an ace. Snow Avalanche get destroyed.
That's the first ace of the game right now, and I think this leaves Infamous Legion in a very good position to take back another turret, forcing Snow Avalanche down to their very last 2 turrets, I believe.
They're playing a composition that should push turrets early, and they have been pushed in time and time and time again. This will be the 3rd turret falling, and Infamous Legion just take an indomitable lead here. 10,000 gold ahead, only 14 minutes in.
There's not much Snow Avalanche can do. What we need to be seeing them do is using that Oblivion to catch all 3 members out. And I think we've only seen the Oblivion once so far. He's definitely had it up more than that. We want to see the Bastion using his impales. And I think, again, it comes down to the point is they're not following up. If we just see Saw spinning up in the background and then joining in the fight, having Bastion standing there in the front line, maybe we'll be seeing the fights going a different direction. But right now, positioning-wise from Snow Avalanche is still very weak.
Let's have a quick look across the items here. So Deathview, he's got his Solar Blade, he's got his Breaking Point, he's got his Tyrant's Monocle, he's almost got a second as well. Cordovice sitting on a Storm Crown of his own, so he's a threat. And Voldemort is so far behind. They're going to look for the engage again. Oblivion comes down, does connect. Cordovice is low off towards the side. Voldemort's still alive in this fight, and perhaps no Avalanche can turn it around. The fountain comes out. Already we see Kentasik falling, though. Bastion takes the one-shot, one kill for his teammate, but he will fall in just a second, tries to roll away. They're focusing Voldemort instead. Bastion, the last bastion of hope here for Snow Avalanche, needs to get away from this, otherwise it's gonna be the ace. Infamous Legion are 17-1 up.
What a game from Infamous Legion so far. And the start of that fight was actually going really well for Snow Avalanche in that we were seeing Waldemar spinning up in the background, and they weren't actually focusing on him straight away, which is a great opportunity for them. But then they did start focusing on him. We saw, oh, the 2 turrets are down.
This is just the game. They're going to take those crystal turrets down. They're going to focus down the crystal itself. Kentasik and Voldemar cannot do anything to stop this. And Infamous Legion take the first game on the world stage.
What an incredibly fast-paced game. And I think this is kind of what we're expecting from Infamous Legion. They're known for their aggression. They're known for the strategy. And we've said a lot that they've put a lot of thought into it. And I think from the very start, it wasn't about that they outdrafted Snow. I think they just got outplayed. Snow Avalanche, they had this great composition that could have done really well in the early game. We just didn't get the opportunity to see it.
They just got decimated. Their only thing they got, the only objective they got in that entire game was 1 kill. They didn't get a turret. They got 1 minion mine, we'll give them that. They didn't get a gold mine. Snow Avalanche...
They got a kill.
Yeah, they got 1 kill.
One
that
kill.
was it. That was it. Snow Avalanche looked much more like the team we saw in Autumn Split than the team we saw in Summer Split there.
Well, we've got to hold out. There's another game in this best of 2. So maybe we'll be seeing them playing off a different draft.
Well, they are on the blue side as well, so they have that opportunity to switch things up. That's it from us for now. We're going to hand it back across towards Excoundrel and the analyst desk to break down Game 1.